I'm 85. Just get out and enjoy the outdoors. I've always been an adventurer. So I thought, okay, I'll just buy a tent and a sleeping bag and a cot and I'll still get outdoors. Minimalist.
Here I am with my new friend Barb at Roosevelt Lake. So Barb, last night I asked you to tell me the story of what you had done professionally with your life. And it was a great story. And we probably spent a half hour on it. So can you give us the condensed, like,
Oh my gosh.
3-minute version?
Oh, I think you asked me what I had done professionally, first of all. That's what got me started. I said, well, I've done a variety of things. Have you got a while? And you said, yes, you did. And I said, well, the last thing I was working in Puerto Rico in air traffic. I was hired after the controllers went on strike, and I worked in Alaska for 5 years, and then I transferred down to Puerto Rico for 2 years. But before that, getting to that point, I've always felt that I was born 100 years too late, that I would have been really great in the Old West. I felt like a pioneer woman. Um, I had been to Alaska right after the earthquake back in the 60s, and it was a real pioneer country then. And after my mother died, I decided I wanted to travel around the world. I went out to San Francisco and I thought I could maybe get a job on a ship, but I couldn't. So I flew to Hawaii. I picked up a cruise ship there, got off the cruise ship in New Zealand, and I hitchhiked through both islands. Then I picked up another cruise ship to get me to Sydney, worked there for a short time, and then I hitchhiked up the coast, and I found out that they hired women to be cowgirls on the properties, which they call stations in the outback. And I had always grown up with Roy Rogers and Dale Evans, and I always wanted to be Dale Evans, and I wanted to marry a cowboy and live on a ranch. Well, I got to be a cowgirl, and I was called in Australia it's called a jillaroo. So I did some cattle, sheep, and horses, and did some of the paperwork in the station. And that's where I met my first husband. He was a cowboy, which they call ringers over in Australia. And when we left that employment, we started contracting work, and he hired some Aborigine stockmen, and we rounded up wild cattle from the properties because they didn't have any fences. And we did that for several years. And then I left Australia because he turned out to be a womanizer and a bit of an alcoholic. So that dream was busted. I went back to the States, worked for a while for my dad, was a ski instructor, did other things, and then I decided to go back to Australia again after 4 years. By this time, of course, my son, I didn't forget, backtrack. My son was born in Australia, and we went out to the bush. He was born in Melbourne. When he was about 3 months old, we went back out to the Northern Territory, and that's where we were doing the contracting, mustering, and that. Um, a lot of times when we were doing that, uh, I would be driving the Jeep with all of our camping gear, and I'd have my son with me. And if they had any little calves that couldn't keep up with the herd, they'd tie them onto the back of the Jeep on top of all the stuff we had. And when we'd get to a campsite, my son would just wander around and help me pick up wood for the campfire. At one point, we were in a different camp, and I had an Aborigine woman who was doing the cooking, but she was so bad as cooking. So I took over the cooking, and she would babysit for my son. He he was just like a bush baby. He didn't have any clothes or anything, and he would sleep with her under her tent, her mosquito net. And then during the day, she'd put him on his shoulders, and she'd go out hunting goannas. Yeah.
And is that a lizard?
Yeah, large lizard. Yeah. And so that was the first time I was in Australia. Then the second time, after 4 years, again, cruise ship, got off in New Zealand, toured both islands, got back on a cruise ship, got to Sydney, um, worked for a while in Sydney, and then somehow I can't remember. Somehow, oh, I had a boyfriend on the ship, one of the crew members. He got off the ship with me, and we traveled together then. And so we ended up in the outback again because he wanted to have that experience. He was English. He wanted to be a cowboy. He wasn't. But anyhow, we ended up working in a Brumby shooters camp. And I know this is hard for some people, but in Australia, the wild horses take the feed of the tame horses. And so a lot of the properties, they want you to hunt down these wild horses. So we were in this camp, and in the morning, I would teach correspondence to the children in the camp, and they were on School of the Air. Periodically, they would get on the wireless and talk to their teacher in uh, um, Alice Springs. That's where the School of the Air was. But what we did in the camp, in the morning, I would teach the children correspond through the correspondence. In the afternoons, the fellows would come in with the horse quarters, and I would skin the horses and put them in the chillers and be waiting for them to be picked up. And it's a big industry there, and the Europeans really love the horse meat. So a lot of it goes to the Europeans, and a lot of it otherwise goes for dog food.
Wow. So let me
Yeah.
just say
Yeah.
that what you're seeing behind us is the vehicle. Here we are at this meetup.
Yes.
And you know, women are in RVs and Ford Transits and
Yes.
Ram ProMasters and all these giant vehicles. And here's Barb in this VW pulling that trailer that's
Yeah.
this big.
Motorcycle trailer.
Motorcycle
Harley Davidson
trailer.
trailer.
Now, in front of us, she's got a tent, and we'll show this later. So, okay, so first of all, are you open to sharing with us how old you are?
Yes, I'm 85.
You're 85. And how long have you been adventuring on your own like this?
Oh gosh, well, it was 25 years between my first husband and my second husband. And then I was married the second husband of 25 years. But I've always been an adventure. We had a motorhome. In fact, I had several motorhomes. And when my husband passed away, I decided I didn't want to deal with the maintenance, so I sold that motorhome. But I still love being in the outdoors. I'm an outdoor person. So I thought, okay, I'll just buy a tent and a sleeping bag and a cot, and I'll still get outdoors. Just really simple.
And how long ago was that?
About 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. And did you buy the VW and the
I bought
trailer also?
No, I bought the VW in 2016.
Okay.
My husband saw the trailer in the RV campground, not the campground, the compound, RV compound. He saw it, and so he got a hold of the person who owned the trailer, and they sold it to us because we were planning a trip to Canada, but we weren't going to take the motorhome. We were going to take the car, so we needed more room to put stuff. So
Yeah.
that's why we bought the trailer. And then I've continued to use it for my camping.
And how often do you drive with the top down? Because you just put that top up today, didn't you? You've had
Yeah,
it
I
down.
did. I've had
Yeah.
it down, but I've had so much skin cancer.
Oh,
So I don't normally drive with it down. And it's only good driving around Sun City West where I live. I don't like driving it down on the highway because it's just too noisy.
yeah.
But yeah. But I love my little bug.
Yeah.
Everybody knows me by my bug.
Yes. Well, it's just adorable. And you've taken really good care of it because it looks new.
Yeah.
So what kind of places do you go? What kind of camping do you do? I mean, this is a woman's meetup and we're all here
Yeah,
together.
this is a woman's meetup. A lot of times I'll just do local camping, but I also have timeshares. And so I spend a lot of time using my timeshares, and I can go to Sedona or Coles Ranch or those places and still be outside. So I'm not that often in the tent.
In the tent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how has it been out here for you? The weather, and you know, you're sleeping out. It's gone down into the 60s at night, late, low.
Yeah,
or
the
high,
nights are
high.
fine.
Uh-huh.
It's just the days are killing me.
Yeah, the days are hot, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normally when I would camp, I would be farther north. Yeah.
Yes. So what attracted you to come to this meetup?
Well, I belong to another Facebook group. I don't actually belong to the butterfly tribe. I belong to the Campers of the Sisterhood, which is another Facebook local group. And Cindy had posted that she was doing this, and I was eager to meet other women who like to camp. So I went ahead and signed up for this, and I've met a lot of wonderful women.
I'm so glad you did.
Yeah.
Really been great meeting you. Okay, so let's grab the camera and we'll start with, you can give us a tour of your vehicle and your trailer, and then we'll look at what you got over here.
Okay. Okay, so here's my Harley Davidson trailer. It just lifts up like this. And I put all my big stuff in here.
Okay, so the tent and bed and all that goes in there.
Yeah. And then
Are you okay with your driver's license being on video, or do you want me to?
That's okay.
Okay.
I don't think.
All right.
Yeah. And Finnish because I'm Finnish.
Ah.
And of course the car is a mess, so don't look at the interior. When you're a single person, you're not very neat.
You don't have to be, do you?
But here's my 2016 VW Bug.
All right, so we will look at the interior.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, and my hula dancer, because I'm a hula dancer, I perform in the West Valley with a hula group.
That's
The
great.
Nani Komohana Tutus, which means pretty Western grandmothers.
That's the name of the group?
Yes, that's the name of the group.
Let's get you with the lake in the background. Okay, so this looks comfy with the sheepskin. And it's got a full back seat.
Yeah,
that's
full back seat.
That's pretty roomy in there.
Yeah.
That's not that messy. I could teach you what messy is. Okay, let's go look over here. All right, go ahead. Barb, what have you got?
Well, I've got my big cooler, but I have to get ice every day because it's so hot. And my camp stove. And
what kinds of things do you cook?
Not much, a minimum. This morning I had some eggs and some coffee. And I've already tied up my kayak. I have a blow up kayak, but it was just too hot and too difficult to get down to the lake. So at least I practiced blowing it up again. So, and the tent, which is easy for one person to put up.
Is it?
Yeah.
Does it kind of pop up?
It pops up. You grab it and just pops up halfway, and then you extend the legs.
Well, that's great. And then you've hammered down some stakes.
Then I've got staked down several places.
Because it's been really windy here, hasn't it?
It was super windy. Was it last night or the night before?
Last night.
Last night was really windy. Yeah, it was really, really strong winds.
All right, you want to give us a tour inside?
Oh gosh. I didn't put anything away.
That's okay. I think we're just fine with that.
No, I'm still trying to find a comfortable bedding. I've got a foam, and I've got a blow up, and I've got pillows, but it's still not comfortable. But it's better than it has been. So I'm still working on that.
It needs to be more cushy.
More cushy. I need a lot of softness.
Yeah, and the pillows probably isn't great because of the joints between them.
Yeah, but it works okay.
Great.
I slept good last night.
Glad to hear it. And you keep the mosquito nets.
Yeah, I had them open the night before last, and it got really cold. So last night I closed them up, and it was really warm.
It was very warm last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was warm. So we'll see what I do tonight.
And so you just have your clothes and...
Yeah, I just have a bag with my clothes, because this is only 3 nights.
Yeah.
And a jacket in case it got super cold.
Yeah. And you've got a little nightstand over here
with a clock and a book
and a rug. You keep it simple.
Yeah, minimalist.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So, Barb, what else do you want to tell us? So first of all, I'm thinking that there might be women your age, or 80 and older, who are thinking, I'm too old to do this. I can't do this. What would you say to them?
Well, they have to try, but some people, if they've never done any camping, it's sort of hard to start at this level. But a lot of people, when they're younger, had tents, and that's how most families, when I was growing up, we always went camping in Canada, because I'm from northern Minnesota. We would always spend weeks up in Canada fishing and outdoors. And uh, it's possible. It's definitely possible if you have the desire. It doesn't take that much work.
Yeah.
If you stay, especially if you stay at nice campgrounds that have everything, all the facilities there.
Right.
Boondocking is a little bit different. You have to get used to that.
And so what kind of places, when you say boondocking, what kind of places do you stay?
Well, I usually stay at places like that have ramadas and the tables and that sort of thing, and showers close by. And like Lake Pleasant, which is very easy to get to, and you can just leave your kayak right there on the shore and just get up and jump in your kayak and go out. And they've got lots of hiking trails around there.
Yeah. And you like hiking?
Yeah, hiking and kayaking.
That's great. And so the other thing that a woman might say is, I've got to have a big vehicle in order to like go to meetups or go camping. And so what do you say to them?
No, it's not necessary because here I am at a meetup. I might be the only person in a tent, but it's great. Yeah, and it's so good to meet so many other women. Every woman has her story, and you learn so much.
Yeah. And you've proven that you can haul everything you need
Yeah,
in a tiny vehicle,
right.
because that's the cutest little trailer I've ever seen. All right, any final words?
Just get out and enjoy the outdoors.
That's so great. Thank you so
Yes,
much, Barb. Really enjoyed this.
thank you. I don't know what else to say.
So